Hey, everybody, welcome. Of course, I'm Doc G. Make sure you can see that. Doc G. There I am. Okay. And this is for information purposes only, and all for entertainment purposes only. All information is for entertainment purposes only. But of course, I'm Doc G, and I want to welcome you to the Wellness Revolution with Dr. Robert Wiedemann. And Dr. Wiedemann is an important doctor in our lives because he's very, very knowledgeable. And he's running a little bit late tonight, so we're going to do a little bit talking to try to get him to go when he's ready to come on. I want to welcome all new listeners, all new viewers, all new people from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and everywhere else we are on the radio, live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all over the world for 30 years. And tomorrow will be the day we actually started the radio station back in the early 90s. An amazing time. I've talked to some amazing doctors over that time. I have my good friend, Dr. Rima LeBeau, my good friend, Jordan Maxwell. I've just talked to so many great people, and I want to add that list to my good friend, Dr. Robert. And let me know, Doc, when you're ready. Just give me the high sign, and we'll bring you right on.
I will do so. I had this thing all ready to go here, and it's kind of disappeared on me here for some reason.
And that's what we
those
call
things happen with computers.
We call that the world of technology. When things
that's
things go great, everything's wonderful. But when things don't go, you have a lot of problems. I just want to tell you,
we have lots of things to say tonight. Regardless. I mean, if we can always divert to something else and do that later. But I had a wonderful PDF here with the BJ Palmer Clinic. Here it is. I found it. Okay. All right. So that's under. Okay. I found where it's at. So let's see if it'll accept it here. This is going to blow your socks off. Come on here. Now, let's see here.
Well, Doc, while you're doing that, let me say we just did a great show. We actually started a test show tonight for my good friend, Dr. Gina Marie, who is a psychic medium. She's also a paranormal investigator. She's an amazing lady. She's done so many great things. She's helped so many family members and people realign with their spirituality and people that have passed in their lives. And at events, she's able to absorb their energy. So we were trying to figure out a way that they can absorb our energy here. And the only way we could figure it out is by video and voice. So if a person wants to call her show or be part of her show, they've got to let me know ahead of time. And then what we'll do is we'll reach out to them and we'll send them the link, make sure they can get on and be part of the show, where people could actually respond back very quickly. And maybe like we have 3 to 4 people per show with an introduction and stuff like that. And, when you do these shows live, it's like trying to figure out what works best for the host, what works best for the engineer, and what works best for the people that are viewing or watching the media. And it's important that we have influx of info back, just like for your show, Doc. When people respond back to us and say, "Oh, that was a great show about heart attacks," we've seen the signs, we just didn't know that it was, and then eventually, that's what happened. It's the little bits of info that we share with each other that help us all understand the certain things that we have in common, but at the same time, certain things that we don't understand when we don't talk about them. So open communication, guys, all the time. Input, input, input.
I'm with you pretty soon here.
Okay. Well, River Life says, hello, guys. Looking forward to a good show. Doc always puts out a good show, River Life. He just he's not technically inclined, and it's hard because it's not even him. It could be the computer, it could be the Wi-Fi connection. It's hard to say. I don't like to pin anybody down and say they don't know what they're doing because it's not that. It could be anything. It could be a Wi-Fi connection. It could be an email issue. It could. I just went through this with my email earlier as an IT guy. It wouldn't let me into my Yahoo, so I had to sign out of my Yahoo, get into another email, which I have no longer the other email available. So I had to get into my Gmail account to get into my Yahoo account. It was the craziest thing ever. And I've got two-part security where they'll call me and they'll send me a number. I should put the number out. That should be enough, right? No. Then they take it and they say, okay, you got to send it to another thing, send it to my phone. I got to hit yes, it's me. And then I put my password in and then we're good to go. It's crazy the way they have it set up. It really is.
Yeah, what's interesting is when you are in a hurry and everything slows down on your computer.
There's no such thing as hurry on a computer anymore. I want to give a shout out to my good friend. I want to give a shout out to my friend Henry Bauman from Bauman's Computer Solutions. We would not be doing this show tonight if it wasn't for him. He gave me a rebuilt computer, which kind of helped us out because my other laptop died. He gave me his monitor, which helped me out because the other monitor wasn't working. And then he gave me a camera, which I'm using. So without Henry, this show is possible through Henry Bauman's Computer Solutions here in New Jersey. Thank you, Henry. Good friend and a great IT guy. So.
For somehow, I just looked in the folder this thing was in and it's nothing there. It's just one of those things. But the first thing I want to do tonight, oh, here we go. Let's try this. Nope, it's not going to bring it up where I want it.
Anyway, all this information is for entertainment purposes only, guys.
Yeah, I can see it in the file here, but when I go to upload it onto your thing, it won't show it in the file. Let's see. I go to slides and PDFs from my computer, upload file, and then I go to the right file. Let's see here. What I might do is email this to you and see if you can bring it up.
Yeah, do that, and we'll talk about. We can do that. Sure.
Okay, let's try it that way. See if you can get it in there. Okay.
All we can do is try, Doc. All we can do is try.
Okay, compose.
Hold on, I'm doing Doc's show right now. Hold on 1 second. My wife is coming down.
Oh, good.
One on the floor right there.
We'll have a discussion with her then.
It fell on the floor. Everything falls on the floor, Doc. So nothing I can do about it.
Now, did you get the email from me?
Give me 1 second. I'm still checking right now. It's just having a slow thing. Just entertain our friends while I look for it. Okay. Entertain our friends. You just can't have dead air, Doc. Can you hear me, Doc?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we just can't have dead air. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, we got to have something going with radio. So
Let's see here. I'm checking again. Oh, Robert Wiedemann. Okay, I got it. Okay, let's see what we can get here. It's a PDF file, correct?
yeah, PDF.
Hmm. I may have to just show it this way.
Yeah, if you can show it that way, I'll tell you when to change slides and so forth.
Give me a
That's
second. Let's see what we can do.
It's quite a long deal.
Let's see here. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, everybody. I'm going to try to download
There
it.
we go. Can you enlarge that so that
No,
if you're not safe?
I'm going to download. No, I can't. I got to download it first. Let me download it and try.
Yeah, see if you can download it and do it that way because it's too small to see.
That's what I figured. Okay, just continue. I'm going to try to figure out what to do here so we can watch it. I said this is a new computer, so I'm trying to navigate through it to find my computer.
Yeah, these computers are not cooperating tonight.
Nor did I would expect them to cooperate.
Yeah.
Not getting anything from
them. Chiropractic workbook, chiropractic. See, I am looking for some pictures of mine.
Doesn't help me.
We can't have dead air here.
I'm trying not to. I'm just looking for the information here if I can get in there.
Yeah, we all have to focus on finding what I hate this, but it is what it is.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see if I can open this now. All right, this may work. Let's see if this works, Doc. Are we still there?
Well, I'm going to bring this up here. Okay, I found something here. Yeah, let's see if I can bring this up here. Pictures.
There we go. See if that works, Doc. Let me know.
Hold on. Let me take a look. Yeah, that works. That works really, really well.
Okay.
Okay, these are historical pictures of the B.J. Palmer Clinic, 1935 to 1961. I interned for Dr. Bud Crowder, and I was going to bring a picture of his up. I was going to bring some picture of myself in my internship days, but I was fortunate enough to intern for the last director of the B.J. Palmer Clinic when B.J. died in 1961. And he said when B.J. died, an army of men came in and took all the records out for some reason. And, completely emptied out the B.J. Palmer Clinic, closed it down, and stopped the research there. So let's see if we can. Do I have control of this, or do you have to control it?
I do. You have to tell me what you want.
Okay, go to the next slide. Yeah, about the presenter. This is Dr. Gary Golombowski. He was a Palmer grad in '83, and he's in Park Ridge, New Jersey right now. He's a board-certified upper cervical chiropractor. and a founding member of the ICA's Council of Fitness and Sports Health Science. He's a college lecturer on HIO instrumentation and biomechanics. I interned with Bud Crowder and learned HIO instrumentation and biomechanics there also. Okay, go ahead and go to the next slide here. This is the founder of the chiropractic profession, Dr. D.D. Palmer. He was called Old Dad Chiro. Go ahead and go to the next one. And this is Dr. B.J. Palmer, the developer of the chiropractic profession. He was the one responsible for chiropractic today. Have only the discovery taken place, BJ would, without BJ, we wouldn't have a profession because his father wanted to keep it all in the family. Go ahead and go to the next one. And he wrote a book called Clinically Controlled Chiropractic. I have that book. There's BJ with his whole staff of nurses and doctors, and he had medical doctors in his staff. And I wanted go ahead. Let me see if I can bring up the preface here. I wanted to read the preface to his book here. We, the undersigned, started to build the B.J. Palmer Clinic. While the undersigned started to build the B.J. Palmer Chiropractic, he had several objectives in view. Medical doctors said there was no vertebral subluxation. We decided to prove there is. Medical doctors said no living man could make could move a vertebral subluxation if there was such. We decided to prove it can be done and is being done constantly and consistently by chiropractors. Medical doctors said that even if it could be moved, it could not improve any function in any organ of the body. We decided to prove that such does improve function of various kinds and various organs of the living body. To this end, we built a clinic of two complete divisions. First, a medical side, using the regular medical methods of ascertaining symptoms, pathology, and diagnosis. To this end, our equipment is complete as any medical clinic and superior to the majority of such clinics. To this end, we had two medical men qualified to conduct such examination and build their records accordingly. Second, a chiropractic side using any and all scientific equipment which could prove the chiropractic principle and practice, building complete case files and records by using automatic and mechanical recording equipment, eliminating all human variables possible. Each and every case entering this clinic was put through both divisions, records being established on each case, files were kept constantly complete. Medical men are prone to say that, quote, all cases who go to a chiropractor are hypochondriacs and would have gotten well had they never gone to any chiropractor, end quote. The average chiropractor does not get acute cases. He gets them only when they are chronic, and he gets only those cases that fail to get well at the hands of medical men. We in this clinic get mainly cases that have been referred to us by chiropractors. So as a result, as a rule, we get the worst of the worst. All have had the usual medical care before coming to us. Obviously, they were not hypochondriacs when medical men had them, and they did not get well anyhow, so long as they had them. Okay, next case. Next slide.
Next one.
This is the I'm sorry, previous slide. That's the main entrance of the clinic. Kind of busy there. Okay, next slide. Oh, that's the waiting room apparently. So one of several offices to manage BJ's enterprises. Go ahead and next slide. Another of BJ's private offices. Next slide. And this is the physical exam room. Next slide. You got to realize this is back in 1947. So this is the NCM reading and adjusting room. Notice there's several adjusting tables of different types, two of them. And you can't see the NCM area. So Sorry about that. Next slide. This is where the NCM, this is the NCM reading booth. They had a leaded, grounded, and shielded booth so that no outside interference would affect the electronic equipment recording the heat variations on the spine there. So it was very controlled. This was state of the art back then. Next slide. This is the old, you can see on top there, there's a machine with a box with a dial on it. That is actually an old Model A neurocalligraph. Now, there was a strip chart below it where when they recorded, and you can see the handheld devices to the left of that big box on the top. They kept those on a cooled, 55-degree water cooling thing to keep them at a constant temperature, so that when they, because these were thermocouple based, and they made it so it would read accurately over the spine. So next slide. This is Dr. B.J. Palmer adjusting the upper cervical spine of a patient there. He's using the knee chest posture, which adds a very three-dimensional aspect to it. And if you ever watched him adjust, it's very, very fast. But this is a still picture, so he's just setting up on the adjustment there. Okay, next slide. This is the precision spinograph X-ray equipment. They had posture constant equipment there, so it's kind of busy there. But they would take pre and post X-rays. They would take stereo X-rays of patients of the spine before and after, so that they could see the three-dimensional aspect of it, clear back in 1947. So, okay, next picture. And this is the seat that they would sit on that was movable. You can't see the whole thing here. It's a very ingenious device because you could position that patient very precisely. Dr. Ralph Gregory had one of these, and Dr. Keith Denton in Monroe, Michigan, still has his office and has this, has a very one modeled exactly after this. So go ahead and next view there. This is a patient being controlled in posture constant position. Okay. And the reason for posture constant is to make sure that you could have pre and post results that are repeatable and reliable, that would actually measure the position of the vertebra. Okay, next position. Okay, this is an X-ray. Back in the chiropractors were the first ones to introduce X-ray machines into the educational part of the schooling. In other words, BJ had X-ray equipment before medical schools had it. He put it in Palmer before medical schools had it. He took the first full spine X-rays and took them to the 1910 World's Fair. And in the early days, X-rays were actually glass plates. Hence, they have always referred them to X-ray plates, even though they turned to plastic later on. Okay, next view here. And this is an X-ray of a mummy of Princess Maritation, and Dr. Palmer determined that she had a misaligned vertebrae in the upper cervical area. Okay, next view, the next one. This is the dark room and the viewing room where they would view the X-rays after they developed them. Okay, next. And this is a protractoscope, the Kuhn protractoscope. Dr. Kuhn was a pioneer upper cervical chiropractor, and he developed this thing where you could put an X-ray up there, and it had a line on it, and you could precisely measure it in degrees. Well, we've developed other systems since then that you could actually draw on the X-ray. So, okay, next view. And this is fluoroscopy. Chiropractors were pioneers in using fluoroscopy on the spine to see the motion of the vertebra, how the motion was affected. Okay, next view. And here's an old chiropractic newspaper ad. Get off the hose. Likewise, the nerves demand freedom from pressure to ensure your health. Okay, so next view here. And this is an x-ray reading room where they would read the x-rays. Next view. And this is a BJ's consultation office where he would take consultations. Next view. This is after the when they were adjusted. Dr. Crowder told me that they were not allowed to get up off the x-ray, the adjusting table by themselves in the BJ Palmer Clinic. They had orderlies come in, and they would literally pick the patient up and put them on a gurney and wheel them back to the resting area so that they would not disturb the adjustment after it was adjusted. Because it took BJ Palmer said it took 20 minutes to seat, and then they would rest them for 3 hours afterwards. Okay, next view. The chemical laboratory. This is where the body chemistries were taken, by the medical doctors in the clinic. New slide here. And this was a place where they would test the heart. They had audiocardiograph, electrocardiograph, and electrocardiophone. Not sure what all those devices are today, what they would be called today, but that's how they studied the heart back then. Next slide. This is a shielded, grounded recording heartometer laboratory. Now, a heartometer is a device that you really can't. You can see one once in a while. You'll see one on Amazon. What they used to do is they had this circular graph that they would put a blood pressure cuff on, and they could actually diagnose the heart from the pressure, like from blood pressure. They could tell what things were wrong with the heart better than some methods today. So, next view. This is the animal laboratory. BJ Palmer actually had an animal clinic where he would adjust animals. And by the way, next week, we're going to have a visitor on our show, Dr. Paige Mott, who is a animal chiropractor out in Colorado. She's a pioneer in getting licensure for animal chiropractors out there. So next view. This is the microscopic laboratory. Next view. And this is the contourographer-meter area. They were actually measuring the contour of the spine. And of course, I had one of those in my office in both Montana and in Appleton, Wisconsin, called an anatometer. But this is a contragraphometer where it would graph the contour of the spine. Okay, next view. This is a photographic studio. Next view. This is the comparative spinographic color graph laboratory. Now, they would take these full spine x-rays. Of course, they took before and after x-rays after the adjustment with the posture constant procedures, and they would actually graph these out. They would actually trace the parts of the spine out before and after and prove the change in the spine after the adjustment. And I actually, someplace in storage, I have a book with many of those transcriptions in it. Okay, next view. This is the biological chemical laboratory. Okay, next view. This is the blood test laboratory. Next view. This is the chemical research laboratory. Next view. 128 separate forms are used to record all the information gathered during a patient's stay at the BJ Palmer Clinic. So they kept records on all these patients. Okay, next view. Osteological laboratory, the finest specimen collection in the world. And BJ used to joke with patients in his lectures. He'd say, these specimens, he says, all those are people that came to our clinic and called what we do treatments. BJ was opposed to the term treatment, okay, because, the idea was that we are not treating any disease at any time. We're removing nerve interference and allowing the body to heal itself. Okay. Next view. There's more bones, more different kinds of bones, gorilla bones, and, even more bones. Yeah. Bunch of skulls. There were a lot of skulls there that he had. Many of them, some of them were anomalous. There was anomalies in there. I remember looking at many of those. Okay, next view. This is a wet specimen. This is a skull atlas and axis with the calvarium removed. And you can see its transparency. It's a valuable specimen. What happened was that Dr. B.J. Palmer went over to Dresden, Germany. This is in pre-war era, Nazi Germany, where they had a hospital there, and this fellow died. And what they did is they anchored immediately after death, anchored the atlas and axis in place, and then removed his head, atlas and axis, and put it through a 6-month process where they stripped away all the soft tissue from the hard. They took all the soft tissue out, all the organs out of it, and all the skin and everything off of it, and then they removed all of the ossification of the bone, leaving only the fiber. And this is suspended in a liquid. And this is at Palmer College of Chiropractic to this day. And you can look around in 3D, you can see the subluxation in there. You can actually see the displacement. Okay. So next view. And this is a coffin, mummy, and full body x-ray of that Egyptian princess. Okay. Princess Merita Tan is what her name apparently was. Next view. This is the rehabilitation lab. They would put patients through rehab after, when they went under chiropractic care. They would, some of these patients had to have rehabilitation, so they would put them through rehab. Next view. And this is a precision weight scale. Next view. This is the rehabilitation laboratory. Next view. Next view. Okay. Apparently they had a neck muscle developer and forearm developer for patients that had to have rehabilitation, after having nerve interference for a period of time. Next view. Treadmill and push-up leg developer. Next view. Mechanical horse. This is the only apparatus that has its own power supply. Others were not powered. They didn't use any electrical motors on any of the other things. Okay, next view. This is the rehab lab. Kitty cars to retrain the paralyzed to walk. Upper arm developer. And next view here. This is the shoulder and back developer. Next view. Spirometer, lung developer and arm developer. Okay. Next view. Climbing bars. Next view. Ambulance cots, crutches, canes, and wheelchairs. Apparently, people would be able to leave behind their crutches, canes, and wheelchairs in many cases. And he had an ambulance that would bring people to the clinic there. Next view. This is the Palm Court. Next view. Okay, that's a picture of it. The floor of the Palm Court. Next view. And I remember hearing patients talk about, people. I took care of patients that had been in the B.J. Palmer Clinic, and they talked about, because I was with Dr. Bud Crowder after, I interned for him when when the B.J. Palmer Clinic was closed after 1961. So I graduated in 1977. I interned for Bud Crowder in 1974 through 1977. So for 2.5 to 3 years, I was with him. And he had fish tanks for people to sit there and watch the fish after they, for something to do after they were adjusted and resting, for 3 hours. So next view. And he had a mounted fish collection. BJ had many interests. So next view here. And this is Eskimo artifacts. You'll see some shrunken heads there. Next view. And he had this is in the mansion. He was interested in swords and blades, and so he had quite a collection there. And I think that those are at a museum in Davenport now. Next view. And these are a collection of beheading axes. Okay, next view. And this is the clinic assembly hall where patients would come and BJ would lecture them. Next view. Now, this is a big word, the electroencephaloneuromin tempograph. Can you say that, Doc?
No.
This is a research laboratory. Now, BJ Palmer was he was electrical engineer. He had the first radio station west of the Mississippi River, and he had two radio stations and 2 TV stations, WOC in Davenport and WHO in Des Moines. WOC stands for Wonders of Chiropractic, and WHO stands for With Hands Only. WHO operates out of Des Moines. BJ Palmer was Ronald Reagan's first boss. Ooh. Ronald Reagan broadcast his football games from Des Moines. So and I don't know how if he went to the games or what he did. I don't know how he did it, but BJ Palmer was his first boss, and when he was president, he actually came down to Parker seminars down in Texas and spoke about his memories of BJ. Next view. The electroencephalon. This is the lab, and it'll show it in just a minute here. But they had leaded, grounded, and shield booths. It says, let's take a step back and reflect on all this for a few moments. I know some of the black and white photos seem a bit scary and archaic, but understand the groundbreaking work that was taking place at this clinic. Much of it paved the way for the advancements in chiropractic today. And that's true. A lot of the stuff influenced us today. Okay, next view. Now this is the strip chart recorder of what BJ Palmer was tracing was the impulse from brain cell to tissue cell and back again. And so you'll see in a minute how he positioned the patient with that, but he actually could measure the waves on this. He did it by oscilloscope as well. He had an oscilloscope with a movie camera attached to it. He also recorded had the sounds. In other words, he had visual and sound recordings of these mental impulses, and he developed a system of being able to analyze this was done before and after the adjustment. And this is where the discovery was made that most interference is being caused in the upper cervical spine. Okay, next view. Okay, this is the kind of the rear view of you can see the speaker up at the top where they had the audio, but there's lots of tubes there. This is before the transistors. Okay, this is back in 47 before the transistor was ever developed. So you can imagine what this kind of equipment would do today. Next view. This is a patient. Now, the electroencephaloneuromin tempograph, the electrodes detect 5 points of nerve energy simultaneously. And that's what was being recorded because they were determining the origin of the mental impulse in the brain and in the spine and in the extremities there. Okay, next view. And these probes, they did. It looks like they're poking into the spine, but they're just resting lightly on the skin by the weight of the they figured out that if they put too much pressure or anything like that, it would affect the reading. But if they just had it by gravity, it would not. So they were able to measure various parts of the spine, and they actually they had this particular view. It doesn't show the X-ray, but this lady actually had a fracture in the lower spine, and it shows that it was not causing interference at that point. But the interference was still in the upper cervical spine. Okay, go ahead. Next view. This Dr. Palmer was an expert on polygraph lie detectors. He would do it in a leaded, grounded, and shielded booth so that there was no outside interference. And he was never noted to be wrong. He had several cases from the police department brought to him that had been convicted of murder and were shown innocent after he did the lie detector on them. They were innocent of murder. So he was able to get them off, apparently. So next view. He said that innate never lies, and that's true. Innate always knows. You can't fool the innate intelligence. Yeah, okay. Keeler polygraph lie detector. There he is doing an analysis on the lie detector on someone there. Okay, next view. This is the entrance to the clinic gardens. A little bit of heaven. A little bit of heaven, unfortunately, no longer exists today. They've completely taken that over, built buildings over it. Unfortunately, many chiropractors were married in a little bit of heaven. Many of them were. So next view. Clinic gardens, fountains, and ponds. I remember that they had gardens out in front of the administrative buildings. They had all these big fish in them. There was big Chinese colored. They were like goldfish, but they were multicolored, like red and gold and so forth, and white and black, and beautiful. Okay, next view. Clinic garden relaxation area under a canopy. Next area. Next view. Clinic gardens, there's a stone carp. I'm not sure the significance of the carp, but next view. Sundial and so forth. Clinic garden. BJ was a world traveler, so he brought things back from all over the world. Next view. And there's some Buddhas in the gardens. Next view. Next view. This is Dr. Lyle Sherman and his interns. Now, Dr. Lyle Sherman is the founder of Sherman College of Chiropractic today in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Now, he's no longer alive, of course, but he was the founder of that, and it's probably the one chiropractic school in the world that probably follows the original philosophy of B.J. Palmer today. Some of the others have been kind of influenced otherwise. Life College is a wonderful college. Life West is a great college because it teaches NUCA there. So, and I believe that NUCA is basically the next step beyond the HIO technique of the day. So next view there. Clinic garden sculptures. Next view. This is the Clearview Sanitarium. This is a chiropractic mental hospital. This was on Eastern Avenue in Davenport, and it was devoted to mental health. They would take patients there, and they would give them psychological counseling, and they would adjust them, and just basically, the mind can. The brain can get sick just like any other part of the body. And they had a 60% cure rate at that clinic. Now, I say cure. I use that term carefully because that's what has been said about it. That's not chiropractic making those claims. It's the results that, the police department used to send mental cases to the Clearview Sanitarium. It was my understanding. And it's far better than being shot full of drugs. If they would follow that procedure today instead of force drugging people, So next view here. This is the interns for that clinic. Next view. Or these are chiropractic interns. That's BJ Palmer's desk. Next view. This is the assembly hall, BJ Palmer Clinic. Next view. This is the father of this gentleman with the faculty and classmates. Okay, next view. And there's an intern on parallel bars. Next view. This is BJ with some of the students. Okay, next view. And there was a chiropractic polio clinic. And it's my understanding, now I haven't done enough research on this, but I was told while I was going to school that the 1957 March of Dimes girl had polio, went to an upper cervical chiropractor in California and got well. And that's been kind of hidden. Okay, next view. To the Order of the Black Tie. So apparently there was a black tie brigade there at school that basically BJ had started to keep chiropractic straight, keep the principle strong. Next view. This is the clinic garden. Next view. Okay, next view. And next view there. Electrocardiograph changes. This is clinic studies. Okay, next view. This may be in that one book. Now, here's the preface of that book that I read earlier. Do you want me to read it again, Doc?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, let's read it again, okay? Because it'll make more sense now. Now that they've been through it here. So
it's up to you.
While the undersigned started to build the BJ Palmer Chiropractic Clinic, he had several objectives in view. Medical doctors said that there was no vertebral subluxation. We decided to prove there is. Medical doctors said no living man could move a vertebral subluxation if there were such. We decided to prove that it can be done and is being done constantly and consistently by chiropractors. Medical doctors said that even if it could be moved, it could not improve any function in any organ of the body. We decided to prove that such does improve function of various kinds of various organs of the living body. To this end, we built a clinic of two complete divisions. First, a medical side using the regular medical methods of ascertaining symptoms, pathology, and diagnosis. To this end, our equipment is complete as any medical clinic and superior to the majority of clinics, of such clinics. To this end, we have two medical men qualified to conduct such examination and build the records accordingly. Second, a chiropractic side using any and all scientific equipment which could prove the chiropractic principle and practice, building complete case files and records by using automatic and mechanical recording equipment, eliminating all human variables possible. Now, this isn't the day before computers. BJ was thinking way out in advance of himself. Okay, each and every case entering this clinic was put through both divisions. Records being established on each case files were kept constantly and complete. Medical men are prone to say that all cases who go to a chiropractor are hypochondriacs and would have gotten well had they never gone to any doctor. The average chiropractor does not get acute cases. He gets them only when they are chronic, and he gets only those cases that fail to get well at the hands of medical men. We in this clinic get mainly cases that have been referred to us by chiropractors. So as a result, as a rule, we get the worst of the worst. All have had the usual medical care before coming to us. Obviously, they were not hypochondriacs when medical men had them, and they were not. They did not get well anyhow, so long as they had them. And there's in the book Clinically Controlled Chiropractic, there are many, many case studies. Now I realize that these were all case studies, and case studies have a certain amount of weight in research. No, it's not a chiropractic. It's very difficult to do a double-blinded study. Okay, so anyway, that's. I think that's are there any more there? I don't think there's any more that I have transcribed. So I transcribed I didn't do the explanation and stuff like that. So next view. You want to continue on there? You took that down a little prematurely, Doc.
Hold on, I got to bring it back. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Give me a second to get it back. I don't know what happened here. Where is it now? Give me a second to find it again. Hold on. We were right near the end.
Well, I think we're pretty close to the end, so I wanted to give some acknowledgement to the fellow that created this. I didn't create it, but in my research today, I found it in my files, so I thought that would be a great one to go over again. So.
All right, so here we go. Let's see, here we go. Where we were. Where were we? There we go.
Yeah, this says the 50 Wonders Palmer class of 51. Many of the chiropractic greats were in this class, apparently. And I'm not sure if Bud Crowder, now Dr. Crowder, let me see if I can find his picture so I can bring it up here for you.
I'm looking for it.
I want to, yeah, here he is. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Image file. Okay, so let's try to bring that up.
You done, Doc? You want me to stop it then?
Yeah, go ahead and stop it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, good. He wanted to know what Calvarium is. River Life. Hold on, River Life.
Calvarium.
What is that?
I'm not sure. I think it has to do with the contents of the skull or whatever. I forget what picture we were looking on. Let's see here. Let's see here if I can find. Okay, there's Bud Crowder. Go ahead and put him up there.
Bud Crowder. Okay, gotcha.
That's him. He was you can see his x-ray in the background with posture constant clamps. I interned under him, learned how to do posture constant. I learned how to do, I basically learned how to do x-ray analysis, neurocalligraph analysis, and so forth, determining when to and when not to adjust. It was early on the top view of suspended brain. Okay, yeah. Okay, so anyway, so I interned him for three and a half years, and basically he would talk, teach us philosophy, how it applied to our patients. When he would see patients, he would see 80 patients a night, and he had 2 interns working with him, and we would rest them before they were read with the neurocalligraph and afterwards. And he used the old-fashioned strip chart, so anyway, that was my experience with him and so forth. So with that, we've only got about 5 minutes left here, and I was going to be talking with you and your wife tonight.
We're right here.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do that.
I'll give you a couple extra minutes. I mean,
Yeah, because see, the thing we want to get by here is that in Stevenson's chiropractic textbook, it says that when society has departed, so gotten out of the grooves of normal, that it's no longer a part of society of having all the nutrients necessary, then it's time to supplement. And so that's why we supplement today with longevity, and we use the same principles. We determine, if, and I realize that I always recommend chiropractic care along with our supplementation. You must remove the subluxation, remove the interference if you expect to really get well. And that includes mental health as well as physical health. So with that, did you want to, let's talk about, I forgot your wife's name. I'm sorry.
Sandy.
I can't hear you.
Sandy.
Sandra. Okay, Sandra. Yeah.
Talk loud.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I had some issues, pain on my left hand side and kind of, in the gut.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before. Okay. Tell me when the pain occurs.
It seems to happen after I eat. We went out to a Chinese buffet, and I guess about I started getting it maybe like 20 minutes or 30 minutes after I ate.
Okay.
Just like.
And is it right over the stomach or on your left side?
It's on the left side. I mean, I do get pains in my gut too, kind of lower.
Lower abdomen.
In the colon area. Yeah, that would be the area of the descending colon. Well, first of all, are you nerve interference free?
No.
No.
Okay. That's the first step, is getting under chiropractic care and getting yourself adjusted, having the interference removed. Okay. The second thing is that what you're dealing with is failed digestion. And whenever you have failed digestion like this, the first step is removing all gluten from the diet: wheat, oats, barley, and rye.
Gluten.
This is according to Dr. Wallach. That's what Dr. Wallach teaches, because it has an influence, just like poison ivy on your skin. You have it's called a contact enteritis. In other words, when that gluten goes through there, it inflames as it goes through that part of your gut.
Okay.
And see what?
Burning in the stomach too. Yeah.
Yeah. And see what happens is that when you eat food, now remember the process of coordination. This is very evident when you eat food. Very, very often you will have a stool after you eat, shortly after you eat. It's like the body has to move things along. It has to move along in the process. And that's a signal for the body to void, because you have to make room for the food that's coming through, because it's in the process of digestion. When it enters your stomach, the brain signals, the stomach, the nerves in the stomach signal the brain what's going on. Now, we talked before, I think that one of the first videos I sliced a lemon, and you and Marvin basically reacted to that, and you could feel the pucker in your mouth. The first initiation is your sensory organs, like your nose and your eyes and even your ears, can be sensitive to cooking, what's going on. And that food preparation can actually signal the brain to get ready to eat. I mean, have you ever smelled food and just your stomach just starts churning. That's
Mhm.
coordination going on. That is your body preparing digestion because it knows you're going to eat. And innate always knows. It always knows. And so, it readies your stomach acids to be strong. There are intrinsic factors that break down like B12 and proteins and things like that into your system. And then when you digest, in your pancreas and liver are also getting ready for the next stage of development. Okay. So all these nerves, and listen, nerve interference can influence all of these things. So don't discount. I mean, many patients have told me that when they first got their first adjustment, they would go home and had to rush home. And one of them told me I didn't make it after getting adjusted. Innate is very powerful, and what it does. When you remove nerve interference, things happen. Okay.
When you say nerve interference, I'm sorry, Doc, do you mean like nerve blockage?
Well, when you have a subluxation, the concept of a subluxation is that a subluxation is a vertebra that's lost its proper juxtaposition relative to the segment above, the one below, or both, to a degree less than a luxation, causing nerve impingement, interfering with mental impulses going from brain cell to tissue cell. So that interference is caused by a subluxation.
Yeah.
So you need to be free of subluxations for life. You need to, maintain that freedom of subluxation. That's why you get checked with a chiropractor on a regular basis, not for the purpose of disease, but for the purpose of health. And the question comes, what is health or what is wellness? Dr. Strang, my philosophy professor, used to go through this, this discussion of well-being. What is well-being? It's being well. And he said that we have the responsibility to be well. And so consequently, we have to take that responsibility. You can't hand it over to a medical doctor. You can't hand it over to anybody else but yourself. You are responsible for your own wellness. And that's why I have that little saying that we talked about before. Anybody, of all those who claim to cure, only three tell the truth: the butcher, the tanner, and the tobacco farmer. Nobody out there is going to save you. You have to determine that you're going to be responsible for your own health, make sure that you have interference removed, and that you're getting all 90 essential nutrients in your diet. And that's very, very difficult to do. And that's why Dr. Wallach has founded Longevity, in order to make it possible to get those nutrients in your diet. And for anybody that needs to know how to do that, my phone number is 406-270-3754. You can text me. I will be glad to talk to you and help you. Or you can go to my website, getdocsminerals.com, and put your information in there. Watch that first video, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, and then go in and watch all of the introductory videos for Dr. Wallach. Okay. Now, Dr. Wallach is he's the BJ Palmer of nutrition. I met him when I was in Kalispell, Montana, and it changed my life, turned me around. And, so many chiropractors we've lost here recently. Lost a good friend, Dr. Marshall Dickholz Jr., on Memorial Day last November or last fall. Just collapsed in his driveway. We lost Dr. Strang, who was my philosophy professor. Came to school, he was never noted to be sick, ever. He was high energy, until the day he died. And he said he was president of the Palmer College of Chiropractic. And this was after I had left Palmer, after I graduated. Came in one day, says, I don't feel very good. I'm going home. Went home and he died of a aortic aneurysm. And I didn't, it wasn't told about this, but I was at the Delta Sigma Chi. I'm a Delta Sigma Chi member. And I met him there, his son, Victor Virgil Strang, who was one of those who took over philosophy after, later on after his father died. And I asked him, I says, was it an aortic aneurysm? He says, yes. And I told him, I said, that's a copper deficiency. Copper deficiency. Okay. So he died. I think he died too early. The problem is that, we have this strong philosophy, which really works. The problem is that our soils no longer have the nutrition in the soils anymore. You cannot raise a crop. A crop cannot magically produce minerals. So hence, the getdocsminerals.com. And, want to lengthen your life, if we have the opportunity to participate in protocols that have the potential of extending your life if you're deficient. Okay. If you're deficient, you need to have those things in your taking into your body in order to lengthen your life. Now, some people don't like taking supplements, but let me say this. We were designed for supplementation. You think about the Garden of Eden. What did they have in the Garden of Eden? The tree of life. And it was for the purpose of extending life. Okay, so even in the Garden of Eden, they were dependent upon supplementation in order to lengthen their life and strengthen it. So with that, do you have any closing thoughts, either of you?
Well, Doc, let me just say real quick, what you just said makes a lot of sense. And I tell that to everybody about the soil, because there's a group, I think they're called the Hunza people. They really don't have a great diet, but it's their soil that has the minerals in it that keep them going. That's why they live to be 150, 180.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes their diet so great.
Right. It's amazing. It's also the water that gets the soil minerals from the water. So It's a combination. It's not just the soil, it's the water that has the minerals in it from the soil as well. So yeah, well, exactly what you said is 100% true, has been proven. And many, many times, if you take the blood of a Hunza people and you just look at all the minerals that they had all this time, you will see the deficiencies in every American, that we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have this, we don't have that. And of course, whatever disease is going to present itself based on the fact that we don't have the minerals in our body that we need. So, and there you go. That's my comment.
There you go. Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. Any comment?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I just want to talk about, the nutrients from the longevity that I need,
Yeah, she's got to go to where? besthealthsurvey.com?
Yeah, Best Health Survey. Well, yeah, you can fill out the survey that way. Yeah, besthealthsurvey.com if you want to access it that way. That'll give me your information as well. But I like to have people watch the movies first and so forth. So River of Life, we're so grateful to have you on the show here. Or thank you for your comment. And we hope all of you out there enjoyed it and really benefit from this, because chiropractic is really the future of this country. Now that Big Pharma is being revealed as being such a fraud, and the medical industry is about to undergo a revolution, and that's why we call the show here Wellness Revolution, because it's my belief that with chiropractic care from a good chiropractor and removing interference and the combination of that and nutrition, you can really handle a lot of things in life. Now, I want to just mention that see, I want to add an image here because I want to show a picture of the lady that's going to be on our show this next week.
All right, Doc. Go ahead.
She is a she is the pioneer. Let's see here. Let's see if I put her where I put her picture at. Let's see here. See if I can find it here. I'm sorry to have to search on. Let's see here.
No, you're good, Doc.
There she is. Okay. This is the doctor in Colorado I was telling you about, who is a animal chiropractor who is. We want to hear some of the stories. You know, some of the. There she is, Dr. Paige Mott. She's going to be on the show this next week. She's agreed to be on the show, and basically, the purpose of having her on the show is to show how animals can respond to chiropractic care as well. So I had a good conversation with her today. She graduated in I think 1981, I think it was. She told me, and so she had Palmer, the good philosophy from Palmer at the time. And so she is strong in philosophy also. So we're looking forward to having her on the show next week.
Absolutely. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Doc, for your information and intelligence and knowledge. It's very important for all of us. And please share this show. All this information is for entertainment purposes only, for people who are listening and viewing us and watching us. And if you want to be either a guest on the show or a sponsor for the show, reach out to me at gdpent1@yahoo.com. Contact Dr. Wiedemann at healthreform90@gmail.com. Copy or text him at 406-270-3754 at getdocminerals.com. All right, thank you, guys.
Yes, and please save these videos and share them with your friends. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and that'll help us with our circulation. So
exactly. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.